Shalom and welcome to this week's Hebrew class. And of course, as we can see, we're going through the book of John in Hebrew. And today's reading will be chapter 19, verses 18 to 22. So let us begin. And the resources are up on the screen with how to use the vowel marks. And we begin by looking at the numbering. We see we have a yod, which has a value of 10, and a chet, a value of 8, being the 8th letter of the alphabet. And so we will go through the letters as we usually do. Vav, yod, zadi, lamed, vet, vav, aleph, tav, vav, shin, mem, Hey, Vav, Shin, Nun, Yod, Aleph, Nun, Shin, Yod, Mem, Sofit, Aleph, Chet, Resh, Yod, Mem, Sofit, Ayin, Mem, and Vav. So now let us read. And it is Vayitz Levu. Vayitzlevu, and they crucified. And of course the root word is salav, which is a kol verb to crucify or to impale. And then we have oto, which is him, shama, there, ushnei, and two, because shnei means two. Anashim, men, acherim, other, and then imo, which is with him. If we look down here, im as a prep, it can mean with, together, by, but also when we see it as which is more in the form of a masculine noun, it means people, nation, crowd, populace. And I've only given that to you just to show you that we have to know what part of speech it is so that we understand. And often context helps that way. So here it is, with him. So they crucified him there and two other men with him. So now we can read that. And it is Vayitz Levu Oto, Shama, Ushnei, Anashim, Acherim, Imo. And the translation, and they crucified him there, and two men other with him. And we get to part B, and we have a mem, Zion, Hey, Aleph, Chet, Dalet, Vav, Mem, Zion, Hey, Aleph, Chet, Dalet, Vav, Yod, Hey, Vav, Shin, Ayin, Bayet, Tav, Vav, and Kaf Sofit. And then we read, Mizeh, which is from this. And then I've added side. From this side, Echad, one, Mizeh, and from that side, because we know it's from the other side, right? Echad, one. Yahushua, and Yahusha, Batavek. So we know the bet is in. Now if we looked at it, talk means, as a masculine noun, means inside, central, interior, within, the midst. And then we have tavek, which has the same basic root. It's a masculine noun meaning center, middle, between, or midst. Right, so in between. So with him, one on each side, and Yeshua in the middle. So we translate that and read it in the Hebrew, Mizeh Echad Umizeh Echad Ve'Yahushua Batavek. And the translation from this side, 1, and from that side, 1, and Yeshua in between. And now we come to 19, represented with the Yod, value of 10, and the Tet, value of 9. And we go through the letters again. Vav, Fe, Yod, Lamed, Tet, Vav, Samek, Kaf, Tav, Vet, Ayin, Lamed, Vav, Chet, Vav, Yod, Sin, Mem, Safit, Ayin, Lamed, He, Zade, Lamed, Vav, and Vet. So let's read. Philatos. Sometimes they use the Fe and sometimes Pe. So in this case it's Philatos, which of course is Pilatos or Pilate. Katav, he wrote. Al, upon. Luach, a board. If we look down here, Luach as a masculine noun can mean board, plank, or tablet. And then we have Vayasem. And he placed it. I added it to it. And he placed it. Because we know that sem means to put or place. Al, upon or above. Ha, se, luf, the crucifixion. And I just gave you here al as a prep, can mean on, upon, above, or over. So it can be over the crucifixion, above the crucifixion, or on the crucifixion. Pilate wrote a tablet and placed it over the crucifixion. So now we read that. Philatos, katav, al, luach, Vayasem al ha-seluf. And Pilatos, he wrote upon a board, and he placed it above the crucifixion. In 19b, we have a Vav, Zayin, Hey, Dalet, Veit, Resh, Mem, Kaf, Tav, Veit, Vav, Yod, He, Vav, Shin, Ayin, He, Nun, Zade, Resh, Yod, Mem, Lamed, Kaf, Safit, He, Yod, He, Vav, Dalet, Yod, Mem, Safit. And now we read it. V'zeh, and this, devar, the word. Miktavo, from its inscription. So we can see the mem is like from, and of course the vav at the end is like a pronoun, which is its. And then we have katav, which as a masculine noun means writing, script, or handwriting. So it's translated as inscription. And then we have Yeshua ha-Nazarene. So how do we get Nazarene? Because the Kamatz rule, grammar rule, tells us that the Kamatz can be an O sound. So it is ha-Nazarene. And then we have Malach, king, or king of, ha-Yehudim, the Yehudim, the Jews. This is the wording of its inscription. Yeshua the Nazarene, King of the Jews. And I've also given you netzer, which is a masculine noun meaning stem, shoot, sprout, or offshoot. So now we will read that. V'zeh, devar, miktavo, Yahushua ha-Nazarene, Malach ha-Yehudim. And the translation, and this the word from its inscription, Yeshua the Nazarene, King of the Yehudim. And now we come to 20, represented with a calf. And we have Vav, Yod, Hey, Vav, Dalet, Yod, Mem Safit, Resh, Bet, Yod, Mem Safit, Kaf, Resh, Aleph, Vav, Aleph, Tav, Hey, Mem, Kaf, Tav, Vet, Hey, Zion, Hey, Kaf, Yod, Hey, Mem, Kuf, Vav, Mem Safit. And we read it. Yehudim, and the Yehudim, Rabim, many, Karu, or in this case, it can be Koru, because of the Kamatz rule, as I've got it here. Koru, they read. So, if we look at Kara as a kal verb, it can mean to read or to call out. And then it is et grammar, right, which is your grammar marker. Ha miktav, the inscription. So they read, grammar marker, the inscription. Hazeh, this. Ki, for. Ha makom, meaning the place. So many Jews read this inscription because the place. And I've got down here, miktav, as a masculine noun, can mean the note, the message, or the writing. Okay, now let us read that. Yehudim rabim koru et ha-miktav hazeh ki ha-makom. And the translation, and the Yehudim, many, they read, grammar marker, the inscription, this, for the place. And then we come to part B of 20, and we have an Aleph, a Shin, a Resh, a Nun, a Zadeh, Lamed, Veit, Shin, Mem Safit, Yod, He, Vav, Shin, Ayin, Kaf, Resh, Vav, Veit, Aleph, Lamed, He, Ayin, Yod, Resh, Vav, He, Mem, Kaf, Tav, and Veit. And we read, Asher, which can be where. Nitzlav, Sham. Nitzlav meaning he was crucified, and there. And Nitzlav is a Nephal. And then we have Yahushua, or Yahusha. Karov. Karov was near. And it is El, meaning to, Ha'ir, meaning the city, the Ha-miktav, and the inscription. Because the place where Yeshua was crucified was close to the city and the inscription. And then I've given you Ir, which is a feminine noun meaning city, metropolis, or town. And then He'ir, I've added that just out of interest because it's not part of it, but it's it's similar form, right? He'ir is, as a verb, it can actually mean to wake, to rouse someone, to stir up. So I've just given you that additional one because it's easy to get confused with whether it's the city or whether it is a verb. Right, so now we can read it, and it is Asher, Nitzlav, Sham, Yahushua, Karov, El, Ha'ir, the Ha-miktav. And the translation, where he was crucified there. Yahushua, or Yahusha, was near to the city and the inscription. And part C, Kaf, Tav, Vav, Veit. Ayin, Veit, Resh, Yod, Tav, Vav, Yod, Vav, Nun, Yod, Tav, Vav, Resh, Vav, Mem, Yod, Tav. And it is, Katuv, was written. Ivrit in Hebrew, even though it doesn't say in, but it's Hebrew. V'Yavanit. So it's V'Yavanit and Greek. V'Romit and Roman, which is generally translated as Latin, but it literally says Roman. The inscription was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. And we read it. Katuv, Ivrit, V'Yavanit. Again, V'Yavanit, V'Romim. Was written in Hebrew and Greek and Roman. So the inscription was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. And then we come to 21. And it's represented with a kaf, 20, and the left one. And we have Vav, Yod, Aleph, Mem, Resh, Vav, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yod, Kaf, Hey, Nun, Yod, Hey, Yod, Hey, Vav, Dalet, Yod, Mem, Safit, Aleph, Lamed, Pei, Yod, Lamed, Tet, Vav, Samek, Aleph, Lamed, Nun, Aleph, Tav, Kaf, Tav, and Vayet. So now let's read. We begin. Va'yomru, and they said, Rashi, meaning the heads of, Kohanim, the priests, Ha-Yehudim, of the Yehudim, we could say, right? L2, Pilatos, Pilate, Al-Na, not please, Tik Tov, ye shall write. And this form, al, as an adjective or adverb, can mean don't or not or no. And the na is like an interjection which can mean please, I beseech you, or now. All right. And the normal translation, the chief priests of the Jews said to Pilate, please do not write. And so we read it again. Vayomru, Rashi, Kohenei, Ha-Yehudim, El Pilatos, Al-Na, Tik Tov. And the translation. And they said, the heads of, the priests of the Yehudim, to Pilatos, not please, ye shall write. And now we come to part B, which has a mem lamed, kaf sofit, hey yod, hey vav daled yod, mem sofit, kaf yod, aleph, mem sofit, aleph shin resh, aleph mem resh, aleph nun yod, mem lamed, kaf sofit, hey yod, hey vav daled yod, mem sofit. And we read it. Malach, meaning king of, Ha-Yehudim, the Jews. Ki im, but, asher, that, amar, he said, ani, I am, melech, king, Ha-Yehudim, of the Yehudim. Please do not write king of the Jews, but rather he said, I am king of the Jews. And we read it again. Malach, Ha-Yehudim, ki im, asher, amar, ani, melech, Ha-Yehudim. King of the Yehudim, but that he said, I am king of the Yehudim. And now we come to 22, which is a kaf and a vayet. Vayet being the second letter of the alphabet. So we know we're in 22. And it is Vav Yod Aleph Nun Sofit. Vav Yod Ayin Nun Sofit. Pei Yod Lamed Tet Vav Samak. Vav Yod Aleph Mem Resh Aleph Tav Aleph Shin Resh Kaf Tav Vayet Tav Yod Kaf Tav Vayet Tav and Yod. So now let's read it. Vaya'an, and he answered, remembering that anah is the root there with the hay dropped off. It's a kol verb. It means to answer, to reply, to respond. And he answered, Pilatos, which is Pilate. Vayomar, and he said, Et, that's grammar marker, Ashir what? Katav T, I have written. Katav T, I have written. Pilate answered and said, What I have written, I have written. Right, and I've also got here, Katav as a kol verb means to write, to compose, to author. Just so we're quite familiar with these words. And it is, Vaya'an, Pilatos, Vayomar, Et Ashir, Katav T, Katav T. And he answered Pilatos, and he said, grammar marker, what I have written, I have written. And now as we come to the end, we now have our revision, and it begins with identifying the verses. Yod 10, Chet 8. So we're in 18. Vayit levu, and they crucified, Oto him, Shama there, Ushne and 2, Anashim men, Acherim other, Imo with him. And they crucified him there, and 2 men other with him. Mizeh, from this, meaning from this side, Echad 1, Mizeh, and from that side, Echad 1. The Yahushua and Yahushua, Ba Tevek, in the middle or between. From this side 1, and from that side 1, and Yahushua in between. And then we have a Yod, value of 10, and a Tet, value of 9. So we're in 19. And it is Philatos and Pilate, Katav, wrote, Al, upon, Luach, which is a board, a plank, Vaya Sem, and he placed it, Al, above, Ha, Saluv, the crucifixion. And Pilatos, he wrote upon a board, and he placed it above the crucifixion. And then we have V'zeh, and this, Devar, the word. Miktavo, from its inscription, Yahushua ha-Nazarene, the Kamatz rule, Melech ha-Yehudim, of the Yehudim, and the translation. And this, the word, from its inscription, Yahushua the Nazarene, king of the Yehudim. Then we have Kaf, value of 20. And it is the Yehudim and the Jews, Rabbim, many, Koru, they read, Et Gramamaka ha miktav, the inscription. Ha ze this. Ki for ha makom, the place. And the Yehudim, many, they read Gramamaka, the inscription this, for the place, Asher, where Nitzlav Sham was crucified there, Yehoshua Karov was near, El to Ha'ir the city, the Ha-Miktav, and the inscription, where he was crucified there. Yehoshua was near to the city, and the inscription, and we're in part C now. Katuv was written, Ivrit, so that means in Hebrew, the Yevanit and Greek, the Romit and Roman, or Latin, was written in Hebrew and Greek and Roman. And then we have Kaf, value of 20, Aleph, value of 1. So we're in 21. Vayomru, and they said, Rashi, meaning the heads of, Kohanim, Kohane, meaning the priests of, because with that ending it's of. Ha-Yehudim, the Jews. El to Pilatos, Pilate. Al-na, not please. Tik tov, meaning you shall write. And they said, the heads of the priests of the Yehudim to Pilatos, not please, you shall write. And then we have Melech, king, Ha-Yehudim, of the Jews. Ki im, but, asher that, Amar, he said, Ani, I am, Melech, king, Ha-Yehudim, of the Jews. King of the Yehudim, but that he said, I am king of the Yehudim. And finally we have Kaf 20, Ve 2. And we have Va-Ya'an. And he answered, Pilatos, Pilate, Vayomar. And he said, Et Gramamaka, Asher what? Katavti, I have written. Katavti, I have written. And he answered, Pilatos, and he said, Gramamaka, what I have written, I have written. Amen. And finally we come to our vowel markings, just for all of us who are not always as familiar with the names given to the various vowels. So we will begin by just looking at them, and it is, the first one is a cholam, and we can hear that it's got that O sound, cho. So that's the sound of the vowel. And then we have shva, shva, which can be silent or can have a short E sound with it. And it basically tells us the breaks in the words. So it helps us pronounce that way. And then we have a segol, which has the E sound, se. Then we have zere, which we can hear as a longer E sound, ze. And then we have patak, short A sound. And then we have kamatz, a longer A sound. And so we'll just look at those today. So hopefully we can remember Cholam, Shavah, Segal, Zereh, Patak, and Kamatz. And then finally, we see the chart that reveals to us the numbering system. So if we look at the second line for this week, Lamed is 30, Kaf is 20, which we've been into, Yod is 10, Tet is 9, Chet is 8, Zion is 7. Okay, now we have the useful resources again, and I do hope you look into them because they are very useful in your practice. And without the dictionary, we have difficulty understanding the words because sometimes translation not quite what the word means. So we like to always check for the root word that's in the middle of our words because we know we have prefixes and suffixes. So we need to know the root word that's in there. And so I just hope that you are blessed by going through these lessons. Not only are they revealing the truth of Yeshua, but we are also learning what we call the Holy Tongue. And so may you be blessed by going through these, and we want to wish you a Shavua Tov, a good week.